Hello everyone and welcome to day 3 of Inktoberfest. Today I'm going to be talking about how to use water to make spots on your backgrounds. My name is Amanda Fitter and you might know me as @craftyandcreativevibes on Instagram. So for the first tag I'm going to start with Twisted Citron and Faded Jeans Distress Oxide. And I'm just going to blend the green first all along the top to about midway. And I'm starting with Distress Oxides because I feel like they give the most dramatic effect when it's used with water. They create an oxidize effect, which the other inks do not. So that's why I wanted to start with the Distress Oxide. They're definitely my favorite to use with water. So now I'm doing the Faded Jeans all along the bottom and then pulling it up into the green to just create a little bit of a mix in the center there. And if I wanted it to be perfect, I would keep on going back and forth between the green and the blue to make it just really blended well, but I don't really feel like I need to do that because we're going to be spritzing it with water, so it's not going to matter too much. So now I'm taking my mister, and this is my Mr. Perfect spray bottle, and it's just filled with water, and I'm spritzing it, and then I'm using a paper towel to just pull up that extra ink. So you can see that really cool splatter effect in the background. So here I'm just showing you that I did another one with Distress Oxides, and I covered half of it so that you could see the before and after. I only spritzed with a spray bottle on the left side and not the right side. So for this one I'm going to use Color Hive inks. These are the ones from Maker Forte, and they are also water reactive. So I'm using Hyde Park and Tartan Teal. These were just released this month, and I think the colors are really cool. I love how Hyde Park almost has like a yellow tone to it, and it looks really good on these tags. So I'm going to blend just like I did with the Distress Oxides, kind of blend into the center, and again I'm not spending a ton of time to make sure there's a perfect blend because I'm going to be spritzing it with water again. So for this one, instead of using the Mr. Perfect spray bottle, I'm going to use a water brush. This is also from Maker Forte, and you just fill it up with water. When you squeeze it, just a little bit of water comes out at the top there. And then I like to use a pencil to bang my brush against. That helps me get a more even splatter effect. And you can see just how quickly that ink reacts to the water. It looks really super cool. So here's the one that I just showed you, and then this is another one that I did using different colors with the same technique. For my next one, I'm going to use Coral Keys and Tiptree Jam Color Hive inks. And so I'm just blending the lighter. It's always better to start with the lighter color and then switch over to your darker color. So that's what I'm doing here. And for this one, I wanted to make sure that it was really filled, really heavy ink, because I'm going to use a different technique and it looks better with more ink. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my stencils that came in the Inktoberfest box. And I'm going to use this Cascading Diamonds one. I think it'll look really neat with this effect. So, and I love these new stencils and how they fit in the snap binders. I'm pretty excited about it. As soon as I got my binder, I filled it up with all of the new stencils. So I'm just laying it down. It's not going to cover the top or the bottom, but no big deal. And then I'm just going to spritz pretty heavy water on this and just dab up that extra water with the paper towel. And then look how cool that looks. And this is another one that I had done as well with using, I think it was Hyde Park and Tartan Teal. And here are a couple of close-ups of what those two tags look like. I think they look really cool with those watermarks. And so the last thing I wanted to show you was how to make a galaxy background. So although this is not necessary, I wanted to do a little moon to build the whole galaxy around. So I'm just grabbing a circle die, and this is just masking tape. So it's just sticky on one side. And I'm going to place that little sticky moon where I want it to go on my tag. And I realized that where I put it, I don't have enough space on the left side. So I'm just going to scooch that down just a little bit. And then that way, all my light can come out starting at the moon. So I'm going to do a mixture of Distress Oxides and Color Hive inks, just to show you that they can be used together. You don't have to stick with one. If I had Distress inks, I could do that as well. But for this one, I'm just going to do the Color Hive inks and the Distress Oxides because I feel like they give the most dramatic water splotchy effect. So I started with my green right around the moon because it was the brightest color. And then I'm just going to put little splotches of color all around the whole thing. The key to this is to just keep on blending, just keep on adding colors. So it may seem like it's not looking good, and that's how I think every time I make these. I just feel like it's such a process, but it looks so cool in the end that it's worth the effort that you're putting into it. So you can see I'm just making like almost little circles all around, and then with this evergreen, I'm just doing pretty much filling in all of the empty spaces. And then I'm going to use the Eclipse Black, and that is going to darken up the whole thing. And then I accidentally got a little bit of ink on my finger there, so I was just dabbing it off. And then I always try to start off the paper, so you can see I'm kind of pulling in from the edge, and that way it'll keep from getting like real big blobs or marks from the brushes. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it does take a long time. The time that you put into it, though, is worth it. It looks so cool in the end. So I don't know if other people do it faster than I do, but I feel like the more ink you put on it, the better it looks in the end. So that's why I'm taking my time doing this and making sure that I just layer upon layer upon layer. I want to make sure that that bright green is really bright. I just put a little blue in there, so now I feel like I need to go back and add more green. But it's so much fun to do. It's, ink all over your hands and all that fun stuff. So I think I got it to where I like it now. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my Mr. Perfect spray bottle, and then also I'm going to add a little bit of stars this time. So first I'm going to spritz it with water, and you can already see how cool that looks. And I'm just going to pull up that oxide ink is really, it's cool to pull that up. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to use this Distress ink. It's just the white picket fence. I'm just going to dab a little bit on my work surface here. And then grab a paintbrush or a water brush or whatever, and just pick up some of it, add just a little bit of water to it, and then tap it against my pencil and make little stars. So you'll have the water that makes, that texture effect, and then also the white, and try not to touch it so that it dries and you don't mess up that white at all. But now we're ready to take off the moon here. And voila. The last step is, I could just leave it like this, but I thought it would be cool to just make it look a little bit more like a moon. So I'm just taking that brush that I used with the black on it and just very gently just giving it a little bit of color on the inside there. And that's what it looks like in the end. So here's a close-up of that tag, and then here is a photo of all of the tags that I created using these techniques. Thank you all so much for watching this video and hanging out with us for Inktoberfest 2021. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos. I have one more video later in the month, and I can't wait to share with you. Please look me up on Instagram at Crafty and Creative Vibes, or just go to my website at www.amandafitterer.com, and that has all of my links to my socials on there. Have a good one. Bye!